On today's show, Zane and I are going to rank the top 10 NFL teams by aura, 1 to 10.
This is by far the cringiest thing we have ever done.
But that's what makes it fun. We're going to have some fun with it. We're going to argue about it. But nonetheless, I'm Devin, that's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. If you want to be a part of the show, comment down below. We do a comment show every week. And if your take is good enough and it makes the cut, it'll be a part of the show. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I'm Devin, that's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. It's all you can eat.
Yeah, okay, good morning, afternoon, and evening. It's the guy you should believe in. Dropping heat like every season. Underdog like Willie Beeman. Classic like Dom singing. Blasting like bombs ringing.
All right, welcome in, Zano. We're back. It is Sunday, July 7th, right around 6:30 my time, 5:30 your time. We attempted to do this, but the ominous father of mine came into town, so I had to get him from the airport. So we're going to jump first into the NFL Aura tier list. I have my top 10. I have my top 10. Zane has his top 10. We're going to go through it, argue out, where we should put these guys. But ultimately we're going to land at least on a top 10 list.
Who's your number one? You go first.
The Pats.
The Patriots.
The Patriots have the most aura in the NFL.
The Tom Brady era.
Yeah.
They are on my list, but they're not my number one. My number one.
Well, wait. Let's back up. How I came to this conclusion, like the way I ranked these is as a kid growing up playing football, right? What team would I want to be drafted to? And two, would I have the coolest storyline being a part of in my mind? Like, what team would I end up with a Hall of Fame career that would be like, you know what I mean? That's how I thought about this and thought about like what teams as a kid I thought were just like super cool. So that's how I came to my conclusion with this list. So my number one is the Pats.
So you probably wouldn't want to be drafted to this team, but you would have a crazy story if you did get drafted to this team. That is Raiders all time.
I don't know. I knew you were going to go this way, but like the reason I don't think they're number one is because they left. But
LA. Here's the thing. Let's look at the full picture so the Bad Boys. This was before we were even born. The Bad Boys playing in a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
They were the Oakland Raiders have always been the nastiest, dirtiest team in the NFL. And to your point, they did drop off for a little bit, but then they have now moved to Las Vegas and they're back. They're fully back being the villains of the NFL and they do not care at all. So you have Max Crosby ghosting a cigar on national television. Right. You have Antonio Pierce, who took out a bunch of loans, and then now he's $28 million in the hole. And he has to fight this is the head coach of the team. And then you have, obviously, we won't talk about like the serious stuff, but then you have that one play against Patrick Mahomes, that pick, and then while he's running back off the pick, just staring him down. That is the coldest moment in sports that I can remember in the past season. That flipping pick where he's running, he's just staring him down. That's so flipping cold. But here's the thing, is that they are literally like last chance you of the NFL. It's a bunch of dudes that don't care. They don't give about how they look in the media, how people care about them. They're just a bunch of dudes that ball and can flip and just like beat up other teams, and the fans love them. And
I just don't feel like there's enough success for them to be number one with aura.
But it's just aura, brother. And they have been the most consistent football team of all time with like their identity. They fell off somewhere in the middle, but they're back now. And the old, so like for the longest time, they've always been the villains, and they love it.
But like outside of, but like who can you name from that team that just like carries aura? Like all-time Raiders, who can you name that you're like, this guy carried the Raiders aura?
See, I was going to look up like their actual names on the team. I don't remember their names, but I'm pretty sure the guy with the grease. Wasn't he a Raider? The goo guy?
I have no idea.
I don't know either, but I can't name anybody, but the entire team has had an identity, and for the most part, they've stuck with that identity and they haven't changed at all. And it's a big FU to the entire league because the entire league is going in an opposite way. And they're just like standing there like, nah, this is how we are.
I don't know if I can. They're on my list. They're on my list.
Their head coach took out a bunch of loans and then he would like put it into a dealership.
That's not
the
aura,
dealership
bro.
crashed, and then now he's negative $28 million, and he's the head coach going.
I
don't
think
season.
that's aura. Though.
That is aura because
they're
it just
in my
fits.
top 10. They're in my top 10, but they're not one, dude. They're not one.
I don't know. I think that's a pretty good one because it's like I was about to go so cringe and like describe what I think aura is. Okay. Let's go. Okay, I'm fine with the New England Patriots just because Tom Brady was so like he had so many cold moments.
Yeah,
yeah, he was like a cold ass motherfucker.
And then how many Super Bowls they went to and won? Like the aura there, it's just ridiculous. That you wanted
the dominance.
You hated it, but you loved it. Like it was just like
Mr. Bill Belichick,
Yeah, dude, they were just so everyone hated them, but that's what made them have the aura because everyone hated them. But they played right. That was the thing. They're the opposite of the Raiders. All the success.
Well, they cheated too,
Well, sure, but like, you know what I mean? They're more clean cut looking from the outside, hardworking. They didn't have stars. They won Super Bowls. The complete opposite of the Raiders, but everyone still hated them.
Yeah.
So you're okay with Pats at 1?
Yeah, we'll put Pats at 1. What's your number 2 while I put Pats up here?
You're going to hate this, and I hate it too, but I feel like you can't go anywhere else. Cowboys at 2.
You have the Cowboys on here?
At 2, yeah.
I don't have the Cowboys on my list.
Really?
Yeah, my number 2, because obviously you don't think the Raiders are number 2. Right?
No.
Okay,
they're in my top 5, but they're not.
My number 2 is the 1996 to 2012 Ravens. And that is when Ray Lewis got into the league.
Yeah.
The entirety of Ray Lewis's career. By the way, while I was looking this up, he has been a Pro Bowler in 3 flipping decades. 3 different decades he was a Pro Bowler. That's flipping insane, brother.
90s, 2000s, and teens?
Yeah. 96 to 2012.
Okay. I don't
think the Cowboys have aura. Like the Cowboys are not cool. The Cowboys have always
Yes, they are, bro. Like to everyone who's not a Cowboy, I mean, most people are Cowboys haters, but at one point they were America's team. And they were
never America's team.
Yeah, they were. Bro.
They had the slogan. They were not America's team.
Yeah, they were, dog.
Bro, since
the Cowboys have aura.
The salary cap came in. Ever since the salary cap came in, they haven't been able to get to a Super Bowl.
Bro,
you're trying to give these rich
kids
but still,
like some credit still though, I just think Dallas is.
So you think Dallas has more aura than Ray Lewis and the Ravens with Ed Reed, right? Joe Flacco, Steve Smith Sr., Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, Ray Rice.
That was all peak. Time. For all
that
time,
was peak,
yes.
Bro.
For all time, yes. The Ravens, that was a short burst.
A short burst? That's 3 decades.
But
that's 3 decades.
But you're not gonna no
one's gonna. Let's just talk about Super Bowls.
No one's gonna.
They have within the 96 to 2012. They've won. I don't remember how many, but they won 2. I want to say the Cowboys. They
have
only
5 in a decade.
Yeah, okay, but that was when there wasn't a salary cap, and they just bro, they just paid everyone. They just bought out the entire NFL.
So
what about that? That's just what about that's
aura,
like
though.
that's
aura
cool.
Though. That's aura because it's like they just got paid. They were just the highest paid dudes. Like they were about that. Like I'm telling you, bro. Okay.
We'll put it there. We'll put it there. You are stuck.
You're going so obscure with your takes,
bro. No shot. You have no idea. No shot. Okay, are they S tier or A? Just real quick. A. Okay. A. Who's your third? My third was the New England Patriots.
Okay.
The Packers?
Yes.
Why? Are you just going by people that win? Is that what you're going by? This seems to be the only thing you're going by is people that win.
No, because the Packers don't have a lot of Super Bowls, but the Packers have a lot of aura. When you think about think through the decades from Bart Starr to Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers and now to Jordan Love, and then you had the defenses that were there. I don't know any of the 90s guys, but you had the Clay Matthews era and Aaron Hawk or AJ Hawk. You then have like now you have they're a pretty darn good defense. Like they are a staple. And Lambeau has enough aura by itself.
Lambeau does. And the Super Bowl's named after him too.
Right. They have enough aura to where like Lambeau itself has enough to put them in the top five.
Actually, I was hating on that one. As soon as you brought up the QBs, that's
I would put him in A. I would put him in A.
That's actually a good one with the amount of QBs that they had. Just
because they haven't been bad. Like they in our lifetime, our parents' lifetime, the Packers have never been bad. At least to our memory. Okay, four. Who's your four?
2003 to 2015 Pittsburgh Steelers, the Troy Polamalu era.
Okay,
crazy defense.
I have the Steelers on there. They're lower. My four was the Niners.
Brother, I don't know, bro. I understand that your thought process was different than mine, but you are picking all these teams that aren't even on my list.
Go ahead.
I just feel like the 49ers just haven't been the same thing with the Cowboys. Like, I don't think we look at the 49ers as like Jerry Rice. Yeah. I could say the Jerry Rice era.
Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Candlestick Park.
I don't agree with you as much as the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I have the Steelers on here, but lower because we're talking about all time. You're picking like eras. We're talking about all time. The Niners have been good for a long time.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason why the New England Patriots are up there is because of the Tom Brady era. You know, like like eras definitely have like fit in with that. You know, it's not like just because I'm picking eras doesn't mean that the entire team, the entire span.
I can go Steelers. I can go Steelers I can relent. I'll go Steelers.
There was that guy with the last name Harrison. You remember that video of them playing volleyball with a medicine ball, like a weighted medicine ball, and they're chucking that thing?
Yeah.
And they killed everyone.
I can go Steelers. I can go Steelers at 4. I can relent on that one. But
all right, now who do you want at 5?
So 4, we're going Steelers. 5 is where I have the Raiders.
The Raiders?
I have the Raiders at 5.
I have the Legion of Boom at 5.
Ooh, no.
No?
No shot.
Bro, it's because all now
it's Seahawks cringe. All time? No shot, dude. All time, you're wild for these takes.
Bro, I think you're digging in too much to all time.
Thank you. He just said
you are digging. You're digging one good season. They won 2 Super Bowls within a 3-year span. What do you mean one good season?
No, they won 1.
No, they have won 2.
No, the Seahawks don't have. The Seahawks have 1 Super Bowl.
No, they don't. They for sure have 2. They have 2.
No.
Look it up. They have 2.
2014.
They have another one.
No, they don't.
They only have 1?
1 against the Broncos, 2014.
But then they went back to the Super Bowl. So
and then they threw the pick against the Pats. I know
they threw the pick, but that I think
they don't have any aura. They don't have any aura, bro.
Okay, but when I bring up an era, you're like, okay, all time they're bad, but then we have the Raiders on here. So then let's just throw out the Raiders because the Raiders aren't a part of it.
The Raiders have been, to your point, the Raiders have been consistent their entire, the bad boy. They've been the bad boys. They've been
consistent with what they are. That's what I think you're just going based off success.
No, I think the Raiders, no. The Seahawks, I'm sorry, but no, the Seahawks are not in the top 5.
I'm fine with leaving the Legion of Boom out.
Yeah, no way. All time, the Seahawks are a new franchise, too. They don't have the history.
Okay, 6. Where we still
You're gonna hate my 6.
We still haven't put Ravens. We haven't put Ravens anywhere.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have the Ravens on here.
Okay. All right.
But
what's your 6?
You're gonna hate it. But it's the Broncos.
I don't think you know what aura is.
The Broncos have such a massive fan base. We have the longest standing streak for sellout home field games.
Awesome. That's great. They still are just goofy. They're just a goofy franchise.
Why? The Elway eras, Shannon Sharp. the McCaffrey, McCaffrey's dad was a part of that era, and then you have the Peyton Manning era.
Again, we're just the consistent here is like good players on the team equals aura. That's the consistent with your thought process.
Because that's what creates aura for a team.
No, it's not, brother. The play that I talked about where they pick off Patrick Mahomes and they stare him down as he jogs into the end zone, that is aura. Fear is aura. Like putting fear into the other team.
I don't think so. Who do you have at 6?
I can't even say it because it's another era. Weapon X. Philadelphia Eagles. What's his name? Brian Dawkins. Weapon X. I have him at 6.
You're going with, that's the thing. You're going with players, not teams.
I'm going with like how they were viewed during that time period.
Yeah, but we're talking about teams. We're not talking about players. You're picking players and saying they have the most.
Yes, aura. And because like they were a part of the team, it makes the team that like he was the guy who would like come out of the tunnel on all fours and like do this on all fours, and then he would smoke people on the defensive side.
Were you looking at this as in this team for like this team? Like you were looking at an entire franchise's like history and picking a team and putting them somewhere? Because I'm looking at like the history of that team in the league, and that's what I'm putting.
Yeah, but you're going based off of like success. Like I'm just saying, like from this time, they deserve to be on the list because from this time period, they were one of the most feared teams, one of the baddest teams on the planet.
So you're that answers my question. Yes, you're going off of auras, and you're not auras. You're going off of team eras, like instead of the entirety of their history and putting and ranking it.
Because that era, like it overshadows the rest of what they've done. The era that we're talking about, the Pittsburgh Steelers era, the Ravens era with Ray Lewis, that overshadows everything else because during that era, their aura was so crazy that they deserve to be on the list. You understand?
I mean, I'm fine if you want to put the Ravens here.
All right, I will put the Ravens there. All right, what are we on, 7?
Yeah, 7 for me. See, I can't go with the rest of these because it doesn't match up to what you're doing. Because you're taking teams and saying that I'm looking at their entire history. My 7's the Chiefs.
I was fine with putting the Chiefs up.
See, but I think the Broncos have more aura than the Chiefs.
And I think it's because you're defining aura as like success. That seems
because when you think about it, if you're getting drafted and you get drafted to the Chargers, you're like, but why? Because they weren't for so long. But you get drafted to the Broncos, and outside of the post Peyton Manning era, they have a long history of being of things you can look at and say they're a great franchise.
I just don't think that's aura, brother.
I think that is, if you get drafted and you're hyped, obviously you're going to be hyped either way because you're going to the NFL. But if you get drafted and you're hyped, it's for a reason.
But like, have you
it's
seen?
Not just because of whatever.
Just real quick, all the videos that I've seen on TikTok that talk about somebody's aura, it's about them like standing all cool, like and menacing, with like a rap beat playing in the background. That is what I've seen as aura. So I don't know how being excited to go to a team like equals.
You're excited because of their aura. Like it's the same thing of like the Bulls franchise. They haven't been good since Jordan. But if you get drafted to the Bulls,
I put the Jordan's era.
It's a cool thing because the Bulls have so much aura because of Jordan.
Yeah. So but like that specific, I'm not saying that like I'm right. I'm saying that specific scenario is how I'm basing all of this off. The Jordan era accumulated so much.
Well, and then you have Derrick Rose though, because that's the thing. If it was just Jordan, obviously everyone wants to be Jordan, but you can do that anywhere. But then you have the Derrick Rose and Jimmy Butler era, and then after that, I guess those are basically the two, but they're separated by a decade or so.
But but that's why I had New England Patriots as top 3 because of
you wanted to do eras, and if you would have defined that would have been different. We can put. I mean, who do you want to put at 7 then, or we 7? Put the Ravens, so then 8. So who do you want to put at 8? I have the Steelers here.
I already have the Steelers up. I have the Cam Newton era on the Panthers.
Jesus Christ,
bro! This one's like,
what the fuck are you talking about?
They went undefeated. It's undefeated season.
No, they didn't.
Well, they almost went undefeated. They were very close.
No, I'm
Everybody
not
was
folding
hyping
to
them.
that. I'm not folding to that.
Okay.
I'm
No,
not folding that.
I can't pick anybody else because
The
the
Panthers, bro. The Panthers. You're gonna put the Panthers in the
just
top
the
10,
Cam Newton
the
era.
top 10, the top 10 teams
Just the Cam
in the
Newton
NFL
era.
with
Just
aura.
the Cam Newton era.
No, we said teams. Teams
Okay.
for their history. You're so wild.
That one, but it's 8, like it's, and bro, I have a worse one too.
The Bears have more aura than the Panthers.
You want to put the Bears? That's fine.
I have the Bears at 9. So if you want to put the Bears, we can. I'll just read you my last 4 that I have on here. Bears, Finns, Vikings, and Bills. Bills are the bottom end. Vikings and Bills were my last 2. They were like honorable
Why
mentions.
Vikings?
I don't know. I remember seeing like all the Randy Moss and like Brett Favre highlights and the purple people eater defense and like Minnesota, they're cold. The jerseys are sick.
I like that one.
So I have that on here. I have the Finns, Miami for the Dan Marino era. Like everyone still talks about
I
it.
knew
And
the
the
Dan
colors
Marino
are
era.
colors are still sick. And like I don't know.
Okay, I'll give you my last one, and this one is the most player because it's just one player that I was going to put up just because of how flippin' sick he was, and that's Mike Oslot. You probably don't know who that is, but he was a 6'1", 248-pound fullback.
Oh, on Tampa?
Yes, and I watched him play, and then I'm like, that's who I want to be. And I
every time I see a highlight of him, I just think of you.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm gonna try and be like flipping Mike Oslot. And they had their running back core. They had something called the Rhino formation, where they had another 240-pound guy actually as the fullback, and then they had like a 200-pound QB as well. And then they would snap the ball, Mike Oslot would get it, and then they would pull their.
Was that Donovan McNabb when he was there?
I don't know, but they would have pulley guards and a 240 fullback and Mike Oslot, who's 240. Just go. How do you feel about the Giants?
No, just no.
All right, let's put San Fran up there because that was one of yours.
All right, at 10.
Yeah, at 10. All right, boys. So we had.
Do you want to put the Falcons up there for the Michael Vick era? Like.
That was a cold era, except for, he would wear the Air Jordan retros. Like he was pretty cold when he was.
We only have 8 there right now.
Yeah. Who are our last 2 then?
We
could just go by yours.
Well, the ones that we had on there that we don't have are Broncos and Chiefs.
All right. Where do you want Broncos?
You can put them there. We could leave it there like that.
There. All right.
Oh, gosh.
We had a dispute. We had a dispute about what aura is, and then through fighting each other this entire time, we have come up with this list. Let us know down in the comments how you define aura. That's such a cringe thing to say, but we both had different ideas on what aura was, and yeah, I honestly, to be fair, I think this is a good mix of both because we both agree S tier Patriots. I don't agree with Cowboys, but I agree with Steelers, Raiders, Ravens, and then Chiefs. And then you have yours in there as well. So it's a good mix of both.
Yeah, I don't know. There's the Ravens. I see the Ravens and I'm like, what are we doing? Like,
what are you talking about? They have been very successful.
Yeah,
I think
anyone's lit to go.
I think most people are going to agree with my definition of what aura is.
To me, aura is Michael Jordan.
Yeah, 100%.
When you think about Michael Jordan, he like the success, he feels like a god figure. That's what I can associate with aura. Yeah. And when I was looking at this whole thing, I was looking at God franchises. That's the way I was looking at it. Instead of God eras. If we would have did eras, I think our list would have been a lot closer. But I was looking at the entire franchise. Like in my mind, when I go to Madden and I say I want to have a Hall of Fame career, right? I'm gonna build my player and I'm gonna play a Hall of Fame career. And I look at these teams. If I'm not memeing, these are the top 10 teams that I would look at and say I'm gonna be on this team.
Yeah, what's funny is we have the same thought process. It just falls apart at the very end because I also agree. Like Michael Jordan, godly amounts of aura. But
Yeah.
the reason why is not only like his success plays a part in it, but it's also like how cold he was. You know, like you hear all
Yeah.
the stories about him like saying, "Don't ever wear those shoes around me," or like
My
stuff
only
like that.
problem, and because I agree with you with that. My only problem with bringing it into the rankings was that you were basing it on players. Like you were going too specific.
Yeah, that is true. But
That was my only issue with it, is you were going so specific. Because when you really look at it, out like the Seahawks, for example,
yeah,
outside of the Legion of Boom era, can you
yeah.
name me anything else in the entirety of the Seahawks franchise history that has aura to it?
Only one, and his name is Sean Alexander. That's it.
See, I don't even know who that is.
He was just a good running back. That's it.
Okay. So that was my only thing with it. But nonetheless, you said it. There was our list. We just ranked the top 10 teams in the NFL by aura. If you want to be a part of the show, go ahead and comment down below. If your take's good enough and it makes the cut, it'll be a part of next week's show. So we want to hear what you have to say. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Again, I'm Devin, that's Zane, and this is Buffet Sports. Ciao.
Ciao.